Okay, I think we're good to get started. So I'll go ahead and just introduce myself and then we can go around and I'll pass it along and then we can get right into it just because I know we have a lot to share in limited time as well. So if you haven't met myself, my name's Emma Montgomery and I'm on the customer onboarding and success team here at SmartSuite. So always really interested in learning about how we can improve and integrate with products like Relay. So I hear niche use cases in integrating with SmartSuite. So it's always nice to understand the landscape. Relay is a new mover in this space, but they have highly impressed all of us and highly impressed the industry, I'm sure. So we're very excited to share with you today. And you can go ahead and introduce yourself. I don't want to mess up your name again. So yeah, go ahead.
Cool. Yeah, no, thank you so much. Yeah, so my name is Thijs. And unless you speak Dutch, you probably didn't have a clue on how to pronounce it, which is totally fine because it's a weird combination of letters. But yeah, my name is Thijs and I'm the head of product here at Relay. And I'm very excited actually to show you how you can use Relay in combination with SmartSuite, as well as some other tools to automate some of the operational workflows in your business. And yeah, to do that, let me give first a quick micro introduction about myself. I mentioned already, my name is Thijs. And before Relay, I was at Booking.com and I also had product management roles at Google, where I worked on Gmail, Maps, and Google Flights at the time. And please, somebody let me know if you cannot see my screen, but I'm assuming you can. But enough about me. Let's talk about Relay, right? Because that's what we're here for. And in fact, this is not the first time that we at Relay are doing a webinar with SmartSuite. In December, our CEO Jacob also did a webinar, and that was mostly a general introduction about the product. And we got tons of great feedback since then from the SmartSuite community, which we're super grateful for. So for example, we got requests to integrate with Fillout, which we did, and which will be included in the demo. We got requests from new Microsoft integrations, which we also did, and at least we're still working on. I'm going to show you some. And also requests to integrate with like comments in SmartSuite, which we also did. And a lot of that will be included in the demo later. But yeah, thanks a lot for all the feedback that you've been giving us, and please keep it coming because it's been super helpful. And yeah, just as a super quick summary about what is Relay for those of you who are not familiar with the product. Relay is an automation tool, and that lets you automate actions and processes across different apps that your team uses. And we're in the same space as tools like Zapier or Make, which you might have seen or used. However, there's a couple of differences between many of these other tools and Relay. And specifically, there's 3 key differentiators that I want to call out. So firstly, there's human in the loop. So we strongly believe and know that not everything can be automated, even though we would really wish so. It is just not simply as that. Often we see that with operational workflows, there's like a human needed at some point to either approve something or provide some extra data or make a decision before the rest of the automation can continue. And support for this is like natively built into Relay and very easy to add in any automation. And second, there's multiplayer. So we also know that teams build automations together, but it's not always that easy to do. And with Relay, we want to make it as easy as like editing a Google Doc together, and also make sure that when somebody leaves the team, that the automations continue to work, etc. And maybe more importantly, we have this concept which we call roles, which is basically a variable for a person. And this means that you can dynamically assign like human tasks or approvals, as well as even run automations on behalf of another person, depending on like some dynamic configuration in the playbook, which is quite magical. And I'll show you in a minute. And lastly, but not least, so we know there's a big rise of AI, of course, and we know how powerful AI is in helping us with so many things that otherwise would be taking up a lot of time. And we strongly believe that AI should be very easy to leverage as part of your automations. So we have features like AI Extract, AI Summarize that let you very easily summarize or extract information from any field that comes from any app, without the need to write a prompt. And of course, we also have the regular integrations with OpenAI, but this makes it very contextually easy to use. Now, in the previous webinar, Jacob did a bunch of demos specifically with our AI features. And today I'm going to focus on a bunch of other aspects, specifically some things, some automation use cases that are either not possible in other automation tools or are much harder, at least we believe so, in other tools. So there's a bunch on this slide that are listed out, but don't worry about reading it all. We'll go through it, but this is maybe, if you want to look back, these are some of the pieces that we'll go through as part of the demo. So let's get to it. And for this demo, let's take a scenario in mind that we want to automate. So let's say we're a coffee roaster, and to our permanent customers, we want to make it very easy to make a repeat order for bulk coffee orders. So we created this form in Fillout, where a customer only needs to add their email address, then select what coffee beans they want to order in bulk, and they add their signature to confirm it, and then they select whether they want to receive a confirmation email or a confirmation via PDF or as a Word document. Now, every time this form is submitted, we want to do a couple of things to actually process the order. So firstly, we will want to make sure that we have a confirmation for the customer, either a PDF or a Word document. And for this, we have a template order confirmation, which in our case is a Google document. And it's a template document. So there's like some placeholders in here that need to all be replaced, including like a placeholder signature. And then, of course, it needs to be turned into a PDF or a Word document, depending on the customer's choice. Then second, after we send the customer that confirmation, we also need to put it in our own order management system. So in SmartSuite, we have a table for orders, specifically for our renewal orders. And in this table, you see a couple of entries over here from some of our customers that have ordered renewals in the past. And there's like a status for each order, as well as the confirmation file that we sent to the customer at that point, either the Word document or the PDF. And the reference to these customers is coming from our CRM, also in SmartSuite, of course. So we have a CRM database, which has contacts as well as like accounts, which are the companies that are related to them. So we basically want to make sure that there's an entry for each order in this database, in this table. And that's it. So let's see how we would build that in Relay. So when you first use Relay, when you sign up for an account, you end up in a new playbook experience. So it's a screen like this. You get a blank slate and you can start building a playbook right away. And the first thing that every playbook starts with is defining the trigger. And the trigger is basically a combination of an app as well as an event that happens in that app that will basically kick off the set of steps that happen after this. And we integrated many apps, as you can see. And in this case, the integration that we're looking for is with Fillout. And specifically, we want to trigger when a new response is received for a specific form. And the form that we are using is called the repeat order form, which was the one that I showed you over here. And right away, we see below there an example from the most recent form response. But maybe more importantly, we also see what are the fields that will be available in the rest of this playbook that I can use. So I will be able to use essentially all the form fields that the person has filled in. All right, so that's really it. The trigger is now set up. Now, the first thing that needs to happen is we need to make sure that the person who filled out that form is actually a customer. So we need to look them up in our CRM, or more precisely in our contacts table. So what we're going to do is we're going back to Relay, and we're going to our SmartSuite integration, and we're going to add a get record step. And what we're basically going to do is we're going to get a record from our contacts table, and we're going to say specifically find the record for where the email address field matches the email that was provided by the person filling out the fill-out form. And see how easily I can reference the fill-out email address right from here. And then there's some configuration things that I can optionally do, like saying, hey, if no record is found, in this case, I set it to continue, but it will be very easy for me to now create a branch or a path to do special treatment when no customer was found. For example, send them an email saying, hey, you're not eligible for, we'll help you in another way. In this case, let's just assume that the customer will always be found. We'll do some paths magic in a little bit, but for this case, let's just continue. So now we know that there's a customer, that the customer is real. And we said the first thing that we wanted to do is create the order confirmation for this customer. And we wanted to do that based on this template document and then populate all these placeholders. So going back to Relay, we can go to Google Docs and Google Docs, sorry. And we have an automation called copy doc and fill in placeholders. And I'm going to select this one. And this one is specifically made for all these times when you want to replace placeholders in a template document. So we're going to select the template document, which in this case is called template order confirmation. And there's a few things now that I should do. The first thing is I should define like how are these documents, the copies of this document, how are they going to be named? Because remember that like every time for every customer, we're going to make another copy. So let's call these order confirmation dash and then the customer's email address, which we get from Fillout. And let's say also dash the date and the time of the submission, because people drink a lot of coffee, so they'll probably make more orders over time. So we can distinguish between all of these. And we can optionally also select like a folder where the document should be put into. In this case, let's make sure that we put them all in our repeat orders folder. And now we already detected all of the placeholders that are in this document. So as you might have remembered, there was like a date field, there was an email field, there was a name field, and there was a product field, as well as we detected that there was an image in the document, which is quite often quite hard to do to replace these images. And all of these we can easily replace. So let's say that the email, we're taking the email address from Fillout. The name of the customer, we don't have in Fillout because we didn't ask for it. But we can easily get that from our contact record from SmartSuite. So we'll get that from there. The date of the submission time, submission date. The product is basically which coffee they wanted, and then the image. So the image, remember, let me go back. This was the placeholder for the signature of the customer. So what we're going to do here is we're going to get the signature file that came in as an attachment in the Fillout form. And that will replace the placeholder image. And that's it. So now at the end of this step, we have a new Google document that has all the fields populated based on this new customer, and it's ready to go. But not yet, because we were not going to send a Google Doc. We were going to send either an email or, sorry, a PDF or a Word document. So for this choice, like email or Word document, we knew that the customer submitted their preference via a form field. So what we're going to do here, we're going to make a path. And let's create a rule-based path. And let's say the first path we're doing for when the choice was PDF. And we're going to apply a rule for when this path is chosen. And specifically, we're going to look at the receive confirmation as answer, where we say choose this path if the person answered PDF. And the other path, we'll just call it Microsoft Word. And if no other path is matching, we can also set another rule for that, but it's fine. So now we have these two paths that will be automatically chosen depending on what the user provided. But now, of course, we need to create the email and we need to make sure that we get the right attachments. So let's add a Gmail automation. I can also search, but I like scrolling through the list. Gmail, who should we send the email to, which is the email address of the customer. Order confirmation is the subject. Let's enter their name. We have the name from the SmartSuite record. Hi name. Attached is your order confirmation. Best Katie. And why Katie? Katie is the name of this demo account that I'm demoing on. So let's keep it real. And now we can attach an attachment here. And what is quite magical, if I may say so, is that you can from here go to the Google document and right here select in what format do you want to attach this file. So whereas in many tools you would need to add a separate like export file step and then specify the format, here you can just go to the Google Doc and say attach this thing as a PDF, and that's it. Now this will have the PDF attached. And of course we want the Word document as well, but I don't want to type the whole thing. So let's duplicate this step and let's drag it to the other tab. And now all we need to do is just change out the attachment. And what was it? Microsoft Word. Cool. So now we're at this point where the customer would have received an email with either a PDF attached or a Word document. And so we're quite far actually in our workflow. But of course, what's missing is we still don't have any record in our renewal orders. So let's make sure we do that now. And what the normal thing would be to do in many tools is like basically build out the next steps in each of these paths. But what's very easy in Relay, you can just click below the paths and say, now for both of these cases, we're going to create a record in SmartSuite. And specifically, we're going to do that in the orders, renewal orders table for the product, which was the Which Coffee product. The customer is the linked record that we gotten in this first step, where we basically looked up the customer, because this is not just an email address, this is the actual reference to the customer. The order date we're adding here. And let's also, of course, the file. And what is nice here, I can reference the attachment from the email that I just sent. And Relay will automatically figure out and will understand that you have in both of the paths that there was an email. And depending on which path was chosen, this attachment will either contain the PDF or the Word document, because I specifically say use the output of the email that was used in a path. So you don't need to do all the deduping or merging yourself. That all happens behind the scenes. And then lastly, also let's make sure that we create this new order with the status not yet processed. So now there's a record being created with all these right fields. And now very lastly, and this is not actually part of the description that I gave originally, but let's also show another automation while we're at it, which is adding a comment to a record. And specifically, let's say that we want to add a comment to the contact record in the CRM, so from the one that we initially got. And we basically add a record that like placed a repeat order today, something just to show that. And that's really it. So now if I turn on the playbook and if we go to fill out and I fill in the form, do dark roast. It's always funny doing these things with trackpad. That's my signature, and let's do a PDF. That's fine. All right, we've submitted it, and if we go to Relay, we see that there's a run in progress. And that run, let's have a look at it. We can follow it live over here. See that the email has been sent to my work email, a record has been created, and a comment has been added. So this is all done. Let's see that it actually worked. And I think here we're seeing now a new record in this table with the PDF also. So you see everything is replaced in this PDF with my signature, and that was it. And what we also see is that in the contacts table, there's the comment that was added, which is a very, very simple comment, of course. So that's one workflow, and it worked all great. But we've been talking about like human in the loop and multiplayer, etc. And this is, of course, just plain old automations. So let's make this workflow a little bit more realistic, so you will. And let's say that instead of automatically sending the order confirmation email right away, we want to first review the order confirmation and maybe adjust it, because as you could see, there's this field, notes from Acme, which if we're called Acme, I could add some notes to there, but that needs to be something that stops or pauses the workflow. So let's say that after the draft confirmation is created, I want to add a manual step. And let's say this is a task. And it is please review the order for, and then I will add some clarity where I basically say for this person, this customer. And I can add some extra instructions because I will get pinged over email and over Slack, depending on my preferences, when this task comes up and with a due date. So I can actually say, add an instruction with a link to the draft, and then I can insert the URL of the newly created Google document in that message. So now if this workflow, whenever this triggers, it will basically pause whenever this step is reached. It will ping me over Slack and over email saying, hey, you need to review this. And then only after I confirm it, it will continue. So let's try that out. Going back to fill out. Do real light now. Let's do something simpler. And yeah, let's do Word. Okay, it's submitted. There's a run that has been triggered. And let's see. So this run will pause. It has paused now. But of course, we're looking at the screen, which is not what typically happens. Like normally you're not staring at the screen when something triggers. That's the whole magic of an automation. So if we now look at my Slack account, I see I got just pinged by the relay bot. And it says this task is ready to start. Review the order for Thijs. Here's a link to the draft. There's the Google Doc. And yeah, looks good. And let me add a note. Thank you for your order. Thank you, autocomplete. Let me close that. And I'm done with it now. I just mark it as done right from Slack. No need to leave this. And if I go back to Relay, we see that it automatically updated and the workflow is continuing and it does all the stuff behind the scenes. So now also the Word document will contain that note that I added. So if we go back to Smart Suite, I didn't set the sorting properly, but this was the most recent one. And it contains the message that I added earlier. All right, so here's an example of a human in the loop step. But now let's make it a bit more realistic, because in this case, Katie, am not going to review all these different things. There's probably different people in the team that need to review these. And in fact, if we go back to our CRM and our fictional company, like for each customer contact, we have an account linked, and each account has an account executive. And so I'm the account executive for Smart Suite, but for Relay, it's my demo colleague, Alex. Let's make sure that the right account executive gets assigned to review this step, but also that the email will be sent on their behalf. We are going to create a role for the account executive. As I alluded to, a role is a variable for a person. And let me just create one and it will show itself, hopefully. So let's say we create this role here, account executive. And now there's this role created. And we can say there's a default assignee for this, which is sometimes useful, but mostly it's not. Typically, you want to have it dynamically assigned. And in order to do that, we're going to click this lightning bolt. And now comes something to pay attention to, because who are we going to assign it to? We want to assign it to the account manager for the account of the customer. So in this case, if I'm filling out the form, Thijs@relay.lab, the account is Relay, and then the account manager would be Alex. So how are we going to find this? We're going to first get to the account record, then the linked record there is, the contact record, then the linked record there is the account, and then we have the account executive email address. And I just click on that, and now this role will be automatically assigned to that specific to the person with that email address that also happens to be a Relay user. So that person needs to have a Relay account, but that's all fine. And now we are going to make sure that this task is assigned to that role. So that it's not just assigned anymore to Katie, but to that specific role. And we're going to do the same thing for the emails. And for the email, we're going to scroll down and we go to Gmail account. And for Gmail account, we're going to select account executive. And I get a little bit of a warning. You can read it later. But basically what it says is like that you need to make sure that the other person, that the person who might be that role needs to have a Relay account and that they also have connected their Gmail with Relay, because otherwise a run will happen and it won't work. But then they will receive an email in that case. So that is just a bit of a heads up. Now, every time a run kicks off, as you can predict, like Alex will be assigned if I fill out the form. For the sake of time, because I wanted to show a few other quick things as well, I'm not going to fill out the form again, but it just works. What I'm going to do next is show you one other type of trigger that we added, which was an often requested comment added to SmartSuite records trigger. So if we create a new playbook and we go to our SmartSuite integrations, we have a comment added trigger. And let's say that we want to do the following: whenever a comment is added whenever a comment is added to a recurring order, we're going to send a message over Slack to the account manager for the customer that is related to. So again, the account manager is not in the stable, it is in our CRM via the companies, but we can all resolve that via Relay. So I say, like, when a comment is added to our renewal orders table, then what we're going to do is we're going to send a Slack message. And let's say this is a DM via the Relay bot. And we're going to send this message to the record that was attached to the comment, and specifically the customer, and there the account, and then the account executive. So it's a couple of levels deep, but it saves you a lot of other hassle, so you can do this all in line. And then we can say that, hey, a comment was made, an order for your customer. And we can actually just link at the name of the customer over here. And maybe bold it and link to the record. Of course, we want to link to it. And that's it. So now when I turn this on, this will trigger every time a comment is added, and it will DM the account manager on Slack. Something that we see is quite helpful for many people. Cool. I think almost done from my side in terms of the demos. Let me show one more, or like a few more super quick thingies. So firstly, last time, a lot of requests from Microsoft integrations. So two things, really good news. We support sign in and sign up via Microsoft accounts since a couple of weeks. So if you're not using Relay just yet and you don't have a Google account, then you can create an account with a Microsoft account. It just shows up on relay.app/signup. It will become very, very obvious. Then second, we're working very hard on various Microsoft integrations. So we already have Outlook email. And just today, and this is not yet launched, but it's coming very soon, but I have it in my demo account, we're working on Teams. And as you can see, there's a lot of Teams automations that are already working in our own environment, and this should become available very soon to everybody. And we're working on giving the Teams integration the same type of rich functionality that we have with Slack. So that will be helpful, hopefully, for many teams. And yeah, just to wrap up, I wanted to show this slide for a little bit, because Relay's pricing, I think, we're quite competitive. We have a free plan, which is good for many light use cases actually. But as soon as you start using it with multiple people or a bit more seriously, we have two paid plans, and both of these plans include unlimited usage. We really encourage unlimited usage and a fixed fee per seat, per user per month. And as a special gift for the Smart Suite community, we have a special sign-up URL, relay.app/smartsuite, that can get you started with a 3-month trial, free trial. And if you're already using the free plan right now, you can use the Smart Suite code during checkout to upgrade to the startup plan and get 2 months for free as well. Yeah, I hope that is helpful, and definitely hope that many of you will be trying out Relay and moreover sending us feedback, because honestly, again, thank you so much for the feedback that we've been getting over the past since December from this community. It's been super helpful in shaping the product. There's been many other integrations actually that we added that came up as requests from the community, and yeah, we're eager to do a lot more soon. So yeah, that was it from my side, and I hope this was helpful. Happy to answer any questions.
And Emma, I know that we've got a whole bunch of questions coming in, but I just wanted to say the amazing demo. The way that you've designed the navigation of linked records, that's really genius. In fact, I may have to steal some of those ideas from you. That just makes the configuration intuitive. I really love it. That combined with your ability to generate the documents from a document template, is that a native function in Google Doc, or is that something that you did just by recognizing those characters in the template?
Yeah, it's the latter. It's not unfortunately native, not a native thing. Specifically, the images aspect have been quite a pain, but many people were asking for it, specifically for these kind of like contract use cases where you want to insert a signature. But yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. Emma, do you want to start in on the list of questions?
Sure, I will. So we may have touched on this, but maybe just additional context. The example you were showing shows a single product being sold. To expand on this, does Relay have an iterator function yet? And if not, do you have an updated timeline?
Great question. I was hoping for this because I forgot to mention it. But no, we don't have it just yet. But this has been the #1 feature request since a while, and we are working on it as we speak. And yeah, we hope that we won't overpromise, but maybe in the next 2 months we should hopefully have something very nice. But we're working on it as we speak.
Okay, great. And this was when you were demoing, but I didn't want to stop you because I felt like you were it would have interrupted you. Someone's asking if they can easily add a PDF of a form completed in Fillout to a matching Smart Suite record.
Just to repeat, adding a PDF of a completed form into adding that into a Smart Suite record, right?
Yeah, in Fillout to a matching Smart Suite record.
Yeah, so if in Fillout, if there's a form field in Fillout where the user uploads a file, and then adding that file that was submitted in the form, adding that to a Smart Suite record, yes, definitely, that is 100% possible. And in fact, that is something that a number of our customers are using with Fillout and Smart Suite, like that exact combination. So, and files.
Got it. Okay, and then I think this is a follow-up question. To meet the requirements of an old request from Smart Suite, that it adds the ability to export a PDF and automatically attaches the result back to the original record.
So could you repeat?
So the ability to export that to a PDF and have it automatically be attached to the original record, like the result of it.
I see. So a few things. So the export to PDF, that feature that I just showed, that is specifically a native feature for Google Documents. So whenever there's like a Google document, we have the inline export to PDF. So if it's about, okay, we start with a Google Doc and that is populated and that is exported to a PDF, and that can definitely be reinserted in Smart Suite. If it is about exporting something else to Google to a PDF, that depends. We currently don't have the ability to export the native form response from Fillout to a PDF. But you get all the form fields as part of the trigger, so you could construct that. I don't know if Fillout has has by default like a PDF export of each form, but yeah, if the person who asked it follows up via email, happy to look into it a bit further, because maybe also I misunderstood or I don't know something.
Got it. Someone's asking about, and this could be more of like a Smart Suite question. Why would I use fill out on a web page over Google Form or Smart Suite form? So I can just answer this. Fill out is a very form specific platform. In fact, that's the product. So while you can do a
Yeah.
lot of things in Smart Suite, we have a lot of capabilities, including conditional forms, like the ability to come back to a form after conditional sections. There's quite a lot. The most common reasons why I see people use fill out is if they want pre-filled forms, just some little features, more customization, more branding. I think that probably answers your question, but we can come back if there's anything else. Okay, so looks like Landon has like more of a support question. He was having some issues connecting, so maybe we can just make a note and we'll reach out to him after. And then Patrick is asking about if files or documents come in and they don't have a naming structure, can Relay intake the files and automatically create a naming structure?
That's a great question. Not generally speaking at the moment, but but this is something that we should definitely be looking into. So a bit more context. I guess that the situation is like there's a file that has like some arbitrary file name, and you want to rename that file and per a certain structure. We do have the ability to, for example, rename files that are on Google Drive, but not just in general rename any file. I would love to learn more. Maybe if you could follow up via an email or offline about the specific use case, because we are definitely looking into supporting more transformation steps. Today, the number of transformations that you can apply, for example, like strings, like pieces of text, or numbers, or dates, or files, is relatively limited. We have a number of these for dates when you use them inline, and we have a number of these for text when you use them inline, but not as a general, broader available construct. And this might be something that would be very good input for that. So I'd love to learn more.
Perfect. Okay. Is Relay, and this is a broad question, is Relay a fully viable alternative to Zapier or Make.com?
Definitely. It depends, right? Like the biggest difference is that like Zapier has thousands of integrations with thousands of apps. We're not quite there yet. We're also a lot younger. So if you need to integrate with apps that we don't yet support, we'd love to know, and we'll add them to our roadmap. But we have lots of requests, so it's not all instant. And with Zapier, there's quite a long tail of apps that they already integrate with. So that is definitely what we see the biggest reason for use cases of where Relay is not a great alternative. For most other like use cases, at least what we hear from our customers, we hear it's a very solid alternative.
Okay.
Plus, it lets you do more.
I think you're being modest there. Yeah, the amount of integration, that's something that just happens over time. Like even us, we're not going to have as many native integrations as a product that's been out there for 10 years. But I think we can both share the same feeling that we're moving quickly and we're ambitious to get as many as we can early.
Well, and we're also motivated in a similar way here at Smart Suite, in that we take customer and partner feedback and prioritize those things. So we share that common approach to try to get the things that our users are needing as quickly as we can.
What are the top 3, and maybe you don't necessarily know this, but what are the top 3 to 4 use cases for using Relay with Smart Suite?
It's a great question. And I would almost turn it around to the community because I know that there's a couple of people in here that are actually using Relay already. But no more, I think we're seeing a very diverse use. Like, of course, both Relay and Smart Suite are horizontal products in the sense that they tackle a whole range of use cases. And of course, with Smart Suite, there's a number of templates that you have. In general, if we zoom out, what we're seeing, there's a lot of operational workflows in the more like commercial roles, RevOps, customer onboarding, sales, account management, where things need to be automated between like CRMs and like customer facing pieces like forms and website widgets, etc., where Relay is often used for, also in combination with Smart Suite. But yeah, I would love to actually hear from people in this webinar that are using both of the products, because maybe I'm sure they'll have much more vibrant examples.
One thing that I would really encourage people to do, if you're willing to share a little bit of the detail around what you've built and you just want to show it off, in our community site, we have a show and tell area, and I would love to see some scenarios posted that show how the tool is being used, how the integration flows, and just seeing some of those things documented with a brief description can really get the wheels turning and give you some ideas for creative ways to use it in your own workflows.
Question about a feature. Are there any plans for a method to organize playbooks, like folders?
Yes, definitely. It's not super short term, but we're definitely looking into it. Like, we ourselves are actually, we really need it because like at Relay, we use Relay for like dozens and dozens of different things. But yeah, no, it's on the roadmap. We're looking to make that a lot better. Actually, last week we updated our whole navigation, our left nav. So you might have seen you can now like resize it, you can make it larger. So also if you have like playbooks or runs with like larger names. So we are definitely doing a lot in that area, and organization and folders is on the list.
Great. Okay, so if someone's asking, and this is, I can send the documentation on this. If you have a Smart Suite plan, can you sign into Relay from inside Smart Suite? We actually have to do that through Relay. So I'll put the link in. You connect Smart Suite. Do you need to do any API, put in your API key, or is it just, I'm assuming maybe you do?
No, I'm pretty sure that we have like a direct like auth integration with Smart Suite, which means that if in Relay, the first time you want to use Smart Suite, it just pops up a dialog that says approve.
Yep,
So it's
just like
super
you're
easy.
logging into Google or something else, it allows you to log in directly.
Oh,
It is
perfect.
OAuth.
Okay, so I went ahead and I'm putting some information. So just go onto Relay. I'm putting the links in the chat for everyone. Okay. See. In the last demo, someone requested native integration with WooCommerce, and they're curious the progress on that one.
Yeah, great. Thank you for asking. Unfortunately, we don't have any progress on Woo. One of the things that we've been bumping into, firstly, is that the whole Woo suite is quite massive. So we looked into it and we saw, hey, this is not a quick one. And we are looking how to best prioritize it going forward. Unfortunately, I don't have a specific timeline. But if the person who asked sends me a message with their like the specific use cases, I can see if we can do something to fast track.
Great. Okay, so question about, I think Patrick, I need some clarification about fill out versus coming through Gmail. But he's also asking in a playbook, if you add a human step, could the human step make decisions on mapping? Example would be a new file is uploaded to Google Drive and they want a record to be created in Smart Suite, but some of the fields in Smart Suite require a decision. In the playbook, you can't exactly match a multiple choice field if they can be different. And they want to add like a human in the loop to make that decision.
Yeah, maybe let me answer this in a few ways, because I think there's a few sub things. So firstly, yes, files also work if they come in via an email or via any other product for that matter. And if they don't yet, let us know and we'll make it work. Like files in general, they can go between products. So then second, about the human in the loop. The first thing to call out is that like whenever somebody's approval is needed in a workflow, they will also be able to adjust things in other steps, because at that point the specific run is paused. But we also have this very specific data input step. And this works very similar to the task, but in this case you can request very specific the input for specific variables that are used later on in the playbook. And I think this is what you are looking for. Like if you want a human to provide specific inputs that go into Smart Suite, for example, you can do that right from a get data input step, which will also notify the person via email and Slack, and you can also add these instructions to it as well. And I'm happy to explain further.
Great. Thank you. It looks like we're all done with the questions that are existing now. So if anyone has any last minute questions, we also have Peter, co-founder, CTO here. So if you want to try and stump him, it's a very big challenge. I'm just kidding.
Emma loves that game.
Yeah, if anyone has any last minute the use case for Patrick was that there's multiple emails or drive uploads that can come from a variety of different groups or staff assigned. So those steps would show, and if a field title is selected, it should be submitted with that information.
I honestly don't know at this moment, because I haven't fully parsed the question yet. But it would be great. Maybe it was Patrick, right? If you would be able to follow up via email, and I'll look into it. From the sound of it, there's some things that you would need that we don't support yet, like file name matching, etc. But maybe I misunderstood, because it's
Okay, and then we do have a question. Dan can see an export field for the number of open comments, but is it possible to export the content? Oh, I think they're talking about Smart Suite. And Peter, you can confirm the answer. I don't think we can export comments.
There's no UI way to export comments currently. They're available in the API. And comments are documented on the developers.smartsuite.com site. So if you're using like a custom step or a webhook and whatever you're building in, you can get it that way. It is a good point, though. We should really be able to export both record history as well as comments. And we are planning to make a number of updates to the actual record edit modal itself. We're going to be adding things like conditional fields and sections like we have on forms. And in the course of that, we will take a look at some of the export options. We have improved the way that we're exporting the PDF recently, so you should notice some enhancements there. But yeah, coming soon. And while we're on the topic of PDFs, we're also going to make Document Designer PDF files available through a couple of different mechanisms so that you could include them in automations, and we'll have APIs so that Relay can take advantage of those and all of that sort of thing down the road as well.
I think I'm muted. If anyone has any, one more question. Is there a way to create multiple records with form? For example, they're creating a CRM contact list where a company could have multiple points of contact. Yes, I actually have a video that I can send. Are you talking about from Relay, maybe? Or just in general?
You can definitely do it in Relay. You can't do it in Smart Suite directly right now without an automation to move some of the data.
I see. Okay. Since we have both automation guys here, what do you think the future in terms of finding ways to integrate with learning management systems like Canvas and Blackboard look like? I think this is a discussion we'd like to have offline. Caitlin, I can reach out to you because we are
absolutely
in the midst of exploring that. In fact, we have quite a bit of universities that are doing this right now.
Yeah, we've been really active in the education space, and we're discovering more and more things that people would like to integrate with, or some of the workflows that either Smart Suite directly or in conjunction with Relay that we could handle in that area. Interesting possibilities for sure.
Yes. Anyone have any feedback? Please feel free to put it in the chat, but it's been really fun to have. I need you to say your name. I need to start practicing. Is it
Dice?
Dice.
Okay, there we go.
Yes.
Dice. Okay, that's easy. It's been a pleasure having you. We're very excited about this integration. And thank you also, Peter, for joining us as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, Thijs, this has been awesome. I'm really excited about what you're building here, and I can't wait to see more. And I'm sure we'll be in contact frequently, and look forward to our next chat.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And thank you very much to the community for all of the feedback over the past weeks. Keep it coming. And yeah, to the SmartSuite team, the great synergy and the collaboration on the tight integrations, which has been excellent.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good rest of your week. And also,
Emma.
while we're here, I'm actually gonna put in the chat the next webinar we're hosting. So I'm actually gonna share my screen and walk you through the webinars. If you enjoyed today's webinar, thank you so much for coming. If it was your first one, welcome. We host these weekly, and next week we will be hosting a Gantt View use case webinar. So how to organize your content marketing with Gantt View. And we will be doing that with a process expert, Layla. I'll actually be co-hosting as well. So the link to register for that is in the chat. Thanks so much, everyone.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.